Good morning, Melanie.
Morning, Andy.
It's still glowing in Lampeter, I see.
Oh, well, sun's still shining through the rain.
I wonder if the Magi were used to the sun shining.
Well, who knows? Who knows where they came from?
Yeah.
Loads of
Although
theories.
there are, aren't there? It seems to be somewhere in Persia. Although I was reading somewhere that was saying, well, actually, it could have just been the other side of the Jordan River, because in Jerusalem, where the east was, well, it was anywhere east. So it could have been just the other side of the Jordan. So, yeah, as you
You
say,
get
it's
the,
exciting.
you get the sense you've had a reasonably long journey, though, don't you?
Well, yeah.
And I quite like the idea of them coming from Persia because I quite like the connection with Daniel. You know,
Uh-huh.
maybe they'd read his scrolls.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. But what I liked was, or what struck me was, they're following the star. Well, actually, that was a method that actually suited them. That was appropriate for them as whatever they were, as astrologers or whatever they supposedly were. It was a method that would have suited them. And it was a method that would have been based on their own superstitions, if you like, of the imagery of stars, the meaning it would have had to them. I remember, what was his name? William Dalrymple, the historian, travel writer, historian. He was saying that he was somewhere in the far in that sort of region, and he came across a group of I think there were Zoroastrians, and they showed him their caves, and on their cave, the walls of their caves were illustrations illustrating the journey to Jerusalem following a star. And they'd had it dated, and these illustrations predated the birth of Jesus. So it's sort of actually almost a tradition within that culture that this would happen at some point. So it's interesting, all the different theories and speculation that abound. But what I always want to try and remember is, you want to say, well, why don't we know? Why aren't we given more detail? Well, it's not actually important other than they were from the East and they were magi and they came from the East. That's what's important. Beyond that, we don't need to know anymore. So therefore, the speculation in a way is a bit of a waste of time. It might be
Mm.
interesting, it might be good fun, but doesn't really matter.
No, because in a sense, they're representative, aren't they? They're representative of the Gentiles coming to
Yeah,
Jesus. And that's where you get the great contrast in this passage, don't you? You've
yeah,
got these unnamed Gentiles coming from afar, yet they are the ones who worship when the civic authorities and the religious leaders
yeah,
who are Jewish do not.
yeah. The other thing that I found interesting with this reading is it's again, you get Matthew's 3 in there. Three times or by three different people, Jesus is referred to as king. And already we're getting this who Jesus is. He's a king. And look, all these different people are acknowledging that kingship. I mean, as you say, Herod um, doesn't worship, but that at least is acknowledging him as a king.
Yeah, but only in the sense that he's a threat to his power.
Well, a rival, yeah, but still a king.
Hmm.
Although, as we're going to discover as we work our way through Matthew's gospel, a king in a different way to what Herod understood and what we may understand as kingship.
Hmm. But they pay homage, and that's what you do to a king, isn't it?
Yeah,
The
yeah,
gift, the gifts are kingly gifts, aren't they? Well, certainly the gold is.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's how we get, we saw his star when it rose. We've come to worship him. It's what they want to do. And then carrying on, when King Herod heard this, he was disturbed, and all Jerusalem with him. And what struck me with that was Herod, one would guess, had a clue about the scriptures, but didn't apply them. He might have known what they said, but doesn't apply it. And how true that can be for many of us at this Christmas time. And have you got a J.C. Ryle quote for us?
No.
Oh, it's somebody else this time. Excellent. That's Matthew. Is that Green's commentary?
Yes, yes. Because I want to read a quote from him, though. There are some great J.C. Ryle quotes too. But this is what he says um, about the scribes and the Pharisees and the whoever else, chief priests and scribes. He says, "Did they go out to greet him? Did they lift a sandal? Not at all. They knew it all, but they did nothing. That is a characteristic danger for clergy and scholars in any age. Their apathy hardened into outright opposition to Jesus as his ministry developed and ended with a frenzied lust for his blood. An awesome warning that knowledge is no substitute for obedience."
Yeah, 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 exactly.
So they knew, but
Yeah,
you think they're in Jerusalem, right? Bethlehem's 6 miles away. Not far to go, did they? They could have just they could have got there in a morning.
yeah, a couple of hours walk, bit of a stroll, Sunday
Go and
afternoon stroll.
go and check it out.
Yeah, go
No,
on,
they
lads.
don't even go.
No, no, no,
So they might know the scriptures because they quote in Micah chapter 5 verse 2,
they are indeed.
but they don't go.
Yeah,
Why
yeah.
would you not go?
Wow. I don't know. Why
It's
wouldn't you
absolutely
go?
no sense to me. Because if you've been waiting for this Messiah to come, and all of a sudden you've got like people from the east saying, "Oh, your king's been born," you'd
Yeah,
be like, "Oh, let's come with you."
yeah, yeah,
And no,
yeah, yeah,
they put all over that way. Bethlehem's that way.
yeah. Off you trot. Go on, lads.
Yeah.
Go and have a look. Go out. And so then Herod finds out from the Magi the exact time the star had appeared, which I think I was referring to last week. Um, that actually is quite important when we go on to the killing of the innocents. That sort of what appears to us as a just an aside, but it's actually really important for the campaign of liquidation we're going to see later on in 16 to 18, and we were speaking about last week.
Mm,
And so then he says, "Go on, lads, off your trot, go and have a look for the kid."
thankfully, they listen to their dreams. They don't only follow stars. They listen to their dreams when the dreams are coming from the right source, don't they? Because they do go and find Jesus, but they don't go back.
Yeah, but look what Herod says at the end of verse 8. As soon as as soon as you find him, report to him. Why? So that I may go and worship him too. So he does know his Jewish scriptures. He does know what he's supposed to do, yet doesn't.
Well, he can't accept anybody else, can he? He's the king. He can't accept that he would have to bow down to somebody else. But that is, in one sense, that's the problem of the human heart, isn't it?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
that's you don't have to be a king or a ruler or have power to have that sort of attitude towards Jesus. I'll decide about my own life.
yeah.
I'm not going to submit to anybody.
And for all of us who've been preaching over this Christmas period at our Christmas Eve communions and Christmas Day communions, we have those countless people in front of us. They all hear this, or they all hear the message of Christmas, and you go away wondering, thinking, why don't they respond? Surely I was clear in how I presented the good news of Jesus, but they don't respond.
Yeah, well, it takes the Lord to change the heart. And it's really interesting, isn't it, that he's changed the hearts of these men in a far off lands, yet the
Yeah,
ones who are closest geographically are the ones whose hearts are not changed.
yeah, yeah.
And that's of
And
God's grace, isn't it?
and that's something we all encounter, may experience in our own lives. And we all have a danger of falling into, especially when you're old and grey and miserable like us. You know, you get a tad cynical, perhaps, or the magic has gone. You know, I've preached this every year for the last 30 years, you know. Wow.
That's why we've got to really try and enter into it afresh each year, isn't it? Because
Yeah,
it is a wonderful thing that God would come down to
yeah,
earth. It is amazing that people from a far off land would want to come and worship. It
yeah,
should be a shock
yeah,
that the religious leaders don't come and worship right at the start. It sets the tone for what's going to happen in the rest of the gospel,
yeah,
you know.
yeah, 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 yeah.
But it is wonderful, isn't it, what these wise men do? I just love that. You know, they've entered in the house, so no longer in the, well, is it a stable? The place where the animals were kept, probably not a stable as we know it. They're not there anymore.
And you just made a really crucial point there when we think about at this Christmas season, all the secular imagery we get presented with. You know, you get those Christmas cards, the nativity scene, and there's the wise men. And you're like, no, no, they're not. Verse 11. No, no, they go in the house. You know, they can have a cup of tea and a Welsh cake.
Well, time has passed, hasn't it? That's the whole point. Time has passed since the birth. I have to
Yeah.
say, my jumper's got the there's the wise man, there's the stable.
I got a Christmas, someone was kind enough to give me a Christmas waistcoat. So I wore that on Christmas Day.
I'll
You
get you
shame
getting
about your
festive.
jumper. I know. Bit of a old misery guts sees the light, eh? Just like the Magi. And so they carry on, don't they? And they follow the star, as you said, overjoyed. They come to the house and they saw the child with his mother, not with his father, but with his mother. What's happened to Joseph? You know, has he gone off for coffee or something, cleared off at the crucial moment?
Maybe it's just the most important thing was the child was with the mother, Maybe he sat on her knee.
Maybe. And then what?
Which even that in itself is just astonishing, isn't it? When you think about who that baby is, and that baby needs nursing and needs holding because
Yeah,
it's too small and weak to sort itself out,
yeah,
you know. That's the Lord of the universe.
that's right. It's
Yeah,
amazing, isn't it?
absolutely
And,
mind blowing.
and what do they do when they get there, verse 11? They bow down, and as we've been saying, they worship him. Yes,
Yeah. Or
that's
in the
perfect.
NRSV, it's they paid him homage.
Okay. In the proper translations, like the NI in the ESV, it's they worship him.
And they
So
give him
that
these
that's
gifts, gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Strange old gifts, really. Well, not the gold, but the other two, strange old gifts to give to a baby.
they are, aren't they? They are, and you know, they are supposedly incense, the idea of sacrifice, myrrh, his death that he's going to face.
Or, gold for a king, frankincense for a priest.
Yeah, maybe that. Maybe that
Yeah,
depends who you read. Depends who you read. And
yeah.
then
And then myrrh for his death is universal, isn't it? Because that was what it was used for,
that's
largely
right.
speaking.
And then what do? They're warned in a dream again. Again, that use of dream that we've seen so often in these early parts of Matthew. Not to go back to Herod. Why don't you want to go back to Herod? Well, Herod's going to go and kill him, isn't he? And so these wise men, these Gentiles, these foreigners are used by God and are open to God's prompting. I mean, that in itself is wonderful that they
Mm,
know to obey.
there's lots of surprises actually in the text. One of the things J.C. Ryle brings out about these wise men is the effort they went to. And I think
Uh-huh.
that's worth a thought. He says he says it would be well for all professing Christians if they were more ready to follow the example of these good men. Where is our self-denial? What pains do we take about means of grace? What diligence do we show about following Christ? What does our religion cost us? These are serious questions. They deserve serious consideration. The truly wise, it may be feared, are very few.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's suggesting that what made them wise wasn't so much that they understood the stars, but that they understood who Jesus was
Yeah.
and were willing to sacrifice.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah, and how much are we willing to sacrifice? You get it when you think about when you talk about Christmas Day, going to church on Christmas Day. People laugh. "Ah, but
Yeah.
there's too much to do to come to church on Christmas Day. Like, you got too much to do to worship the one that Christmas is about."
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
there we go. About priorities, isn't it? And you know, we'd like to think that we like the wise men, but more often we can be like other characters in this story.
I think we can be. That's right. That's right.
There we are. Well, preach Epiphany,
Enjoy it.
sing those good Epiphany carols.
That's right. Yes. As with gladness.
Yes, before we launch in with Jesus being baptized, because that's the next one, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, well, I'll see you next week, Melanie. Have a good time.
Happy Epiphany.
And you. Bye.
Bye.